Welcome to the Science of Hockey, the podcast where we break down the science behind ice hockey. I'm the analyst, your host, and every week we explore the data, research, and evidence that shape how we play, train, and understand the game of hockey. From biomechanics to performance psychology, we take you beyond the rink and into the research lab, giving you insights that go beyond hearsay and into what really makes the difference on the ice. Whether you're a player, a coach, a parent, or just someone passionate about the sport, we're here to bring you scientifically backed information in a language that's friendly and easy to understand. So grab your skates and let's dive into the science of hockey. Welcome to the Science of Hockey. I'm your host, the analyst, and today we're exploring how tradition meets innovation in hockey. We'll uncover the dynamics behind introducing the half-ice format, a shift that emphasizes skill development and enjoyment over traditional full-ice gameplay. With perspectives from parents, coaches, and data from over 6,000 participants, we'll explore what this means for the future of youth hockey and how these changes could influence the sports culture. From skepticism to success stories, this episode will take you behind the scenes of a controversial transformation in hockey. So grab your gear, and let's hit the ice for another deep dive into the science behind the game.
All right, get ready, because today we're going to be diving deep into Canadian youth hockey.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, half-ice hockey.
This will be good.
And, you guys sent us a ton of research on this.
A lot to cover.
So it's obvious that you really want to understand what all the fuss is about with this whole half-ice thing.
It's more than just fuss.
Okay.
It's a fundamental shift we're talking about.
Okay.
How young Canadians are learning the game.
You guess
And
it.
as you can imagine,
Big deal.
some strong opinions.
Yeah. So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
Our main source for today's deep dive is this research article. It's from PLOS1.
Okay.
And it's all about what parents and coaches
Yeah.
think about this new model for under-9 hockey.
Right?
But before we get into all the little details, can we
Yeah.
just acknowledge how huge hockey is in Canadian culture?
Absolutely.
It's practically in our DNA.
The study even mentions that over 500,000
Oh,
registered Hockey Canada members.
that's a lot of people.
And that's not even counting the kids playing in, the informal leagues.
Right.
And then there's Canada's dominance on the international stage, too.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I mean, it's no wonder that any change to how we teach the game,
Yeah.
especially to the youngest players, is going to spark a debate.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Big debate.
So let's talk about the big shift, this move to half-ice.
Okay.
So back in 2019,
Mm-hmm.
Hockey Canada started doing this for under-9 players.
All right.
Which is ages 8 and under.
8 and under.
And they did this to line up with something called
Okay.
long-term athlete
It's a mouthful.
participant development model,
Yeah.
which we'll just call the LTAPD.
The LTAPD.
Yeah. Okay, short.
Much easier.
Yeah.
So think of the LTAPD like a blueprint
Okay.
for developing athletes in any sport.
Okay.
It stresses long-term enjoyment and building strong skill foundations
Right.
rather than, focusing on winning at all costs.
Especially at a young age.
Especially at a young age.
Yeah.
Way too young.
So instead of throwing these little kids
Right.
onto a huge ice surface
Yeah.
and basically watching them chase the puck around,
They're just running around.
we're scaling things down
Exactly.
to help them really develop those fundamentals.
Exactly. It's all about setting them up for success in the long run.
I like that. So
Yeah.
the article you sent
Mhm.
compares 3 different models.
Okay.
We've got full ice, half ice, and cross ice.
Right.
And it's worth taking a quick look at the differences.
Let's do it.
So full ice is like the traditional model,
Yeah.
5 players
Right.
and a goalie on each side.
Mhm.
Half ice obviously uses half the rink,
Yeah.
4 players on each side.
Yep.
And then cross ice is even smaller,
Even smaller.
played across the width of the rink.
That's tiny.
Yeah, so smaller space, fewer players.
Right.
I'm guessing that means more puck touches,
You got it.
more chances for each kid to be involved in the play.
More action.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense when you think about it.
It makes a lot of sense.
So the research actually brings up
Okay.
this study by USA Hockey
Right.
that found some pretty impressive results.
What'd they find?
With half ice and cross ice.
Okay.
They saw big increases in puck touches,
Okay.
shooting opportunities, and passes.
Wow. So way more involved in the game.
Way more involved.
Yeah.
And get this,
Okay.
they found similar results when they studied young players
Interesting.
in Scandinavia,
Scandinavia.
which is known for producing some
They-
amazing hockey players.
They know what they're doing.
So that's pretty compelling evidence.
Compelling for sure.
But I'm guessing not everyone is over the moon about this change.
No, I mean, we Canadians love our traditions, right?
Yeah, especially when it comes to hockey.
Exactly, especially hockey.
Uh-huh.
The study mentions some U.S. novice teams
Bro?
actually quitting leagues
Wow.
because they wanted to stick with full ice.
Really?
Yeah, and even in Canada, there's been a lot of media coverage about the controversy.
Right.
A hot topic.
It's interesting.
You know what's interesting? The research also mentions that implementing this whole LTAPD model,
Okay.
even in other Canadian sports, has often been met with resistance.
Really?
It seems like people can be a little hesitant to change,
It's scary.
especially when it comes to something as beloved as youth sports.
I can understand that.
If you've grown up with a certain way of doing things,
Mm-hmm.
it can be hard to change.
Yeah, to embrace something new, even if it might be better.
Totally.
So how did the researchers try to get to the bottom of all this?
Well, they didn't just ask people, hey, do you like half ice or not?
Okay.
They made this massive survey
Okay.
and got responses from over 6,000 parents and coaches all across Canada.
6,000 people.
A lot of people.
That's a huge sample size.
They were serious about this.
So what did they learn?
Well, one of the most interesting things was that those who believed in the developmental benefits of half ice.
Okay. That it actually helps kids improve their skills.
Right.
They were much more likely to prefer it.
Yeah.
Seems pretty obvious
It does.
when you say it out loud, but it really highlights how important education is.
Right. So if parents and coaches understand why this is happening,
Exactly.
they're more likely to get on board.
More likely to be happy about it.
So it sounds like the battle for half ice isn't just on the rink. It's in the minds of parents and coaches.
It's all about the mindset.
If they really believe in those long-term benefits, they're more likely to get on board.
Makes sense.
But I have a feeling it's not always that simple, is it?
You're right, it's not.
Okay.
The study also found that those who preferred that traditional full ice model
Okay.
were actually more influenced by what other people thought.
Wait, hold on. People who liked full ice more were more influenced by others.
That's what they found.
That's kind of surprising.
It is a little counterintuitive.
You would think they'd be more confident in their own opinions.
Right, you'd think so. So it raises the question.
Big question.
Who are these key influencers?
Yeah.
Shaping these opinions.
Yeah, and you know what?
What?
The study points to coaches as having a big impact.
So if you're a parent with a kid in hockey,
Yeah.
maybe talking to the coaches is a good place to start
Talk to the coach.
if you want to understand what's going on.
Makes sense. They're the ones on the ice with the kids every day,
They're the ones seeing it
seeing the changes.
firsthand.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, so we've got beliefs,
Mhm.
social influences.
Right.
But what about past experiences?
Oh, yeah, good point.
Did this study look at that at all?
They did.
Okay.
And it turns out that parents and coaches who had played organized hockey themselves,
Okay.
they were actually more likely to favor half ice.
Interesting.
And get this.
What?
The ones who had previous experience with half ice,
Oh, good.
like as a parent or as a coach, were even more supportive.
So experience breeds understanding.
It seems like it.
Those who have seen the benefits firsthand, whether as players or from watching their kids,
Right.
are more likely to embrace this new model.
Seems to be the case.
But I'm curious,
Yeah.
did the study look at the level of competition at all?
Like,
Did parents and coaches of kids
yeah.
in more competitive leagues
Mm-hmm.
have different opinions?
They did look at that.
Yeah.
And what they found might surprise you.
Okay.
Parents and coaches of kids in more competitive leagues were actually less favorable towards half ice.
Now that is a head scratcher.
Yeah.
You would think those focused on competition would be even more eager
Yeah.
to embrace a model that
Helps their kid get better.
enhances skill development.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
It speaks to this potential disconnect
Okay.
between how people see development
Right.
and the role of competition, especially in youth sports.
We often think of those things as being
Opposites.
at odds with each other. But maybe that's not the case.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe it's not about choosing one over the other,
Yeah.
but figuring out how to balance both
Exactly.
in a way that benefits young athletes
Benefits everyone
in the long run.
long term. So,
Remember how we talked about the influence of coaches?
yeah.
Well, here's a glimmer of hope.
Right.
The study found that coaches were generally more positive about half ice than parents.
That's encouraging.
It is encouraging.
If the coaches are on board, maybe that'll help sway some of the parents who are still on the fence.
Good.
They're the ones out there
Every day,
every day on the ice.
they see how this new model is impacting the kids.
Yeah, and they're in a really unique position
Yeah.
to influence the perceptions of parents and players.
If they're enthusiastic about half ice and can explain it clearly, it's more likely that other people will follow suit.
Okay, this is getting really interesting.
It is.
We've already uncovered so much about half ice.
A lot of info. And it's clear that there's a lot more to talk about.
Much more to unpack.
But before we go any further,
Okay.
let's take a quick pause to gather our thoughts.
Good idea.
We'll be right back with more.
More insights from this research.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, you guys.
All right, so...
Before the break,
Yeah.
we were really getting into this whole half-ice debate in Canada.
Yeah, it's a big one.
It is.
It's like we're trying to rewrite the hockey playbook.
A little bit.
Which is pretty radical for some people.
Yeah, but isn't that what progress is all about?
Yeah, it's like we learn new things, we adapt,
Right.
and hopefully we make things better for everyone.
Exactly. And that's why these insights from the research are so valuable.
Yeah.
It really stresses how important communication and education are.
I agree.
If we can really explain, like, the why behind this whole half-ice thing, we have a much better chance of getting people on board.
So that makes sense. But how do we do that?
Yeah, that's the question.
How do we address the concerns?
And skepticism, especially from the competitive hockey folks.
Yeah, the competitive folks are tough.
They're the toughest ones to convince, it seems.
They are. So the study actually talks about social influence.
Okay.
Remember how we were saying that those who preferred full ice, they were more likely to be swayed by what other people thought?
Yeah.
So maybe the key is to find those influencers
Okay.
who already have some street cred in the hockey world.
The hockey stars.
Maybe, like, imagine if...
Like Wayne Gretzky
Yeah, exactly.
brings down and he's like, half ice made me great.
Half ice would have made me even better.
Yeah. I bet people would listen.
People would listen to Wayne Gretzky.
For sure.
But it can't just be like celebrity endorsements.
Right.
It's got to be like people at the local level too.
It's got to be the coaches, the experienced players,
The people you see,
people in the community.
yeah, like a grassroots movement almost.
Exactly.
Empower those people
Empower them.
within the community to become champions for this. Exactly. Think about it.
Yeah.
If you're a parent and you're not sure about this whole half ice thing,
Yeah.
and you hear from a respected coach in your association
The person you trust.
about how it's helping kids,
Yeah.
you're more likely to listen.
Makes sense.
That kind of peer-to-peer influence is powerful.
Yeah, it's like a ripple effect.
The ripple effect.
Starts at the community level.
Right.
And then spreads out.
I like that.
But it's got to be more than just talking about it.
True.
We're Canadians. We need action.
We need to see it in practice.
So,
And the research backs this up. Remember that finding about people with personal experience with half ice
yeah.
being more supportive?
Right.
Maybe the key is to give people more opportunities to see it.
So get them off the bleachers and onto the ice.
Exactly.
Maybe have parents and coaches do some drills with the kids.
Yeah, like let them see how fun and engaging the game is.
And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good scrimmage?
A good scrim.
Everyone loves a scrimmage.
Yeah, but really, that kind of experience can change people's minds.
It's like, you can tell me all day long how good a cake is.
Right.
But until I take a bite,
You won't know.
I won't really get it.
It's a good analogy.
And speaking of getting people to understand things,
Yeah.
we got to talk about education.
It's key.
We can't just say half ice is better.
No, you got to explain why.
Yeah, we need to back it up with evidence.
We got to show them the proof.
So we need more than just like those pamphlets they hand out at the rink or like,
a little website blurb.
yeah, a little blurb on the website.
Yeah.
We need to actually engage people,
Make it interesting.
answer their questions,
Give them the info.
address their concerns.
Be upfront about it.
Yeah.
Imagine like workshops
Okay.
where coaches can actually learn the techniques of coaching half ice,
Mm-hmm.
but also really dive deep into the educational philosophy behind it.
That would be cool.
It would.
Or like online resources
Yeah.
where parents can watch videos,
Watch videos.
read articles,
articles.
hear from other parents
Yeah.
who have embraced the change.
Exactly.
So meet people where they are
yeah.
and give them information
Yeah.
in a way that's easy to understand
And fun.
and fun.
Make it enjoyable.
Yeah, I like that.
So we also got to think about those beliefs that might be fueling some of the pushback.
Yeah,
For example, some parents might think that half ice will hurt their kid,
especially if they're playing competitive.
especially in a competitive league.
Yeah, they might think if my kid's not playing full ice from day one,
Yeah.
they're going to fall behind.
That's a common concern. We have to address that head on.
Wait.
Maybe by showing them examples of those elite players
Okay.
who actually got their start on half ice.
Okay.
We have to make it clear that we're not trying to make the game easier
Right.
or less competitive.
It's
about making sure that the environment is right for the kids.
Yeah, that it benefits all players in the long run.
Exactly. Long-term development.
So it's not about choosing between skills and competition.
Right.
It's about recognizing they can work together.
They can and they should.
And that building those skills early on can actually lead to greater success later.
You can't build a house without a strong foundation.
Right.
And that foundation in hockey is those core skills that you learn on half ice.
Exactly.
And who better to help build that foundation than the coaches?
Yeah.
Remember, the study found that they were generally more positive about half ice.
They're seeing it.
They see it every day. They're on the front lines.
Working with the kids day in and day out.
They're the ones who really understand.
So they're in a unique position to influence those perceptions.
They are.
Of parents and players.
If they're excited about it
Yeah.
and they can explain it well,
People will listen.
people are going to get on board.
But they need support, right?
Absolutely. Coaches need access to good training
Mm-hmm.
that goes beyond just the X's and O's.
Right. It's more than just like strategy.
They need to be on board with the LTAPD.
The philosophy behind it.
The whole philosophy
Yeah.
is about making those coaches, not just instructors,
Mm-hmm.
but advocates
Yeah.
for this new way of doing things.
Yeah. Ambassadors.
Ambassadors, that's a good word.
And let's not forget about organizations like Hockey Canada.
Yeah, they have a part to play too.
They need to be sending a clear message.
A consistent message.
Yeah, about the benefits of half ice,
Absolutely.
addressing concerns,
Be upfront about it.
and offering support to those who are implementing it.
Yeah, because it really is a team effort.
It is a team effort.
From the top all the way down to the parents.
And it's not like a one and done thing.
It's a process.
Yeah, we need to be constantly checking to make sure it's working.
Monitoring and evaluating.
Gathering feedback.
Make adjustments if we need to.
Yes,
It's about making sure the implementation really lines up with the purpose,
Right.
which is
develop skills,
skill development, enjoyment.
enjoyment, have fun, make sure they love hockey.
It's a journey.
It is.
It's not a destination,
Exactly.
and there will be bumps in the road.
There will be.
But this research gives us tools
It
to
is.
deal with those challenges.
And make a brighter future for these kids.
For young hockey players.
That's what it's all about.
So we've talked about the research,
Mm.
the challenges, and some potential solutions.
Solutions.
But I'm wondering, with all this information,
Yeah.
where do you stand now on this whole debate?
That's a good question, and it's one that everyone in hockey should be asking themselves.
Yeah, players, parents, coaches, fans.
What stood out to you?
Yeah, what will you do differently?
Now that you know all this.
These are great questions.
They are.
We encourage you to check out the research.
Yeah.
Maybe even connect with your local hockey association.
Talk to people.
See what they're doing.
Because at the end of the day, the future of hockey is in our hands.
It really is.
And if we focus on developing these kids and making sure they have fun.
We can make this a really positive experience for everyone.
I agree. So
This has been great. And lots to think about.
this has been the deep dive.
Until next time.
Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep. Okay, so we've really dug deep into this research on half-ice hockey.
Yeah.
We've talked about the challenges,
Right.
brainstormed some solutions.
Hopefully some good ones.
But the question is, will this actually change the face of youth hockey in Canada?
I mean, it's a pretty big deal.
It is a big deal.
And while we can't predict the future,
Of course not.
the research gives us some good clues about what needs to happen.
Yeah, like a roadmap,
A roadmap,
maybe with some detours along the way.
a few detours, probably.
It feels like we're at this crossroads.
Yeah.
With a chance to really reshape how kids experience hockey.
Yeah.
Focusing on developing their skills, having fun.
It should be fun.
But it's going to take a real commitment from everyone.
Well, we're involved, yeah.
Governing body,
Associations.
parents, and all of us.
All of us got to be on board.
And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating.
It is.
It's not just about hockey itself.
Right.
It's about understanding how people react to change,
How we deal with new things.
how beliefs and social pressures play a part.
It's about human nature.
Yeah.
And recognizing that change takes time.
It does. It's not like...
It's a process.
Yeah.
We got to be patient.
This research is a good reminder
Yeah.
that we can't just assume that everyone's going to be super
I
excited.
got this new model, yeah.
We need to engage with the people who aren't so sure.
Yeah, we got to talk to them.
Hear them out.
address those concerns.
Give them the information they need.
And the support.
Yeah, to make this change.
To help them through it.
And I think we need to celebrate the wins along the way, too.
Absolutely.
Like highlighting the positive stories.
Those are important.
The players who are thriving.
The coaches who are killing it.
Yeah.
Those stories are inspiring.
They build momentum. It's like if one community is seeing another one succeed with half ice, they're going to be more likely to be like,
hey, maybe we should do that too.
we should try that.
Exactly.
So as half ice becomes more and more common, I'm curious to see how those perceptions evolve.
Especially in the competitive world.
Yeah, especially competitive hockey.
Like, will we start to see that shift in mindset?
Where people are prioritizing skills over those short-term wins.
It's a big question.
It is, and I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
I agree.
Maybe this new way of doing things will start to like filter up, you know, shape a whole new generation of Canadian hockey players.
It could.
Who are not only skilled, but just love the game.
Passionate about hockey.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
Imagine a future where this whole emphasis on development
and fun
extends beyond just the youth level.
Right.
Influences the entire culture of hockey.
The whole hockey world.
It could become more inclusive.
More sustainable.
More focused on the well-being of players.
That's a great vision.
It is, and while there's still work to be done.
Oh yeah, there's work to do.
This research gives us reason to be optimistic.
It does.
It reminds us that change is possible.
It is.
Even in a sport that's like so tied to tradition.
That's Canadian hockey.
Canadian hockey.
So yes.
So after all of this research, where do you stand on this whole debate?
What stood out to you?
Yeah.
I think for me, it was the power of beliefs.
Okay.
And how they really influence what we do.
How we act.
Like, if we believe that developing well-rounded athletes is more important than just winning,
Right.
then we're more likely to get behind things like half ice.
It's a shift in thinking.
It is.
But I think it's worth it.
I think so too.
So for you guys listening,
What resonated with you?
what will you do differently now that you know this stuff?
Will you talk to your kid's coach?
Volunteer in your community.
We encourage you to check out the research we talked about or reach out to your local association.
Learn about what they're doing.
Because at the end of the day, the future of hockey is up to us.
It is.
And if we focus on development and making sure these kids are having fun, we can make this a really positive experience for everybody.
That's what it's all about.
Creating a love for the game that lasts a lifetime.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into half-ice hockey.
It's been fun.
We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.
Of something you care about.
Until then, keep learning, keep exploring,
and keep diving deep.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Science of Hockey. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to share it with your friends, teammates, or anyone who loves hockey as much as you do. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment to let us know what you liked, what you'd like to hear next, or any questions you have. Your feedback helps us make the show even better. Until next time, keep your skates sharp, your mind open, and keep chasing the science behind the game.